Read on.
Okay. Second verse. For in this we groan earnestly, desiring to be clothed upon with our house, which is from heaven.
Yeah. So when he said here, this earthly tabernacle, that's how we know that he wasn't talking about the physical tabernacle where the showbread and the candlestick and the Holy of Holies. He's talking about your earthly, your physical, your body. Because your body is what's groaning. Your spirit is what's groaning to be right with the Most High. Read on.
For we that are in this tabernacle do groan. Let me read the third verse. If so be that being clothed, we shall not be found naked.
Yeah. He said, if so being clothed, we shall not be found naked or without sin. Go ahead.
For we that are in this tabernacle do groan.
Yeah, so we that's in this tabernacle, we groan. The physical body, we're groaning. The spirit and the soul that's within us, that's groaning. Not the physical tabernacle that was made with hands, but your physical body, that's a tabernacle. That's what's groaning. Read on.
Being burdened, not for that we would be unclothed, but clothed upon, that mortality might be swallowed up of life.
Yeah, we want to be clothed. What do we want to be clothed with? What is our spirit groaning for? Righteousness. Yeah, that's what we want to put on. We want to put on that righteousness. But what's battling us? What is battling us? The flesh is battling us. That's that other part. That's the outside, the physical part. What controls the flesh? Which part of the tabernacle is more close to the flesh that controls it? Is it the spirit or is it the soul? Why is it the soul? Who does the spirit belong to? The Most High, right? Just like the Holy of Holies. The Holy of Holies, the priest only went there once a year. And there he dealt with the Most High because the Most High came down on the mercy seat. That represents our spirit. Our spirit always belonged to the Most High. But that middle part is what dealt because the holies is where the priest came to do the sacrifices. That's where the people came in and they brought their bullocks and so on and so forth, and those two dealt together. The outer court, the people in the outer court never was able to go directly to the Holy of Holies. Same with your body. Your flesh can't deal directly with your spirit. Not until Yahweh rips that veil. Because we're going to read that just now. When that veil is ripped between your spirit and your soul, and your spirit can now control the flesh, then we will be clothed with righteousness. Read what you got. Hebrews. Yeah, Hebrews 8:1.
Hebrews chapter 8 verse 1. Now of the things which we have spoken, this is the sum. We have such a high priest, who is set on the right hand of the throne of the majesty in the heavens, a minister of the sanctuary, and of the true tabernacle, which the Lord pitched, and not man.
Yeah. Yahweh is that true tabernacle. He's the true sanctuary that we're going to have to come into. Because he's the mediator. Get me Hebrews 10:1.
Let me get it?
Yeah, you can get that. Shall you get to Luke 23 and 44. Because all these things, like you said, the old tabernacle, it was just a physical tabernacle. It was just like the law, the physical law that we keep, and the sacrifices we did, and the ordinances, and the traditions with the washing of pots and all those other things. Those were things that we did carnally. But it was preparing us for Yahweh. Because when you read in the law will tell you a certain thing, like say adultery. Well, you go back to the law, Exodus or Leviticus, and what is adultery, right? What is adultery?
A man taking another man's wife.
When a man takes another man's wife, according to the law, according to the written law. But that was just physical. When Yahushua came, what did he bring? He brought the spiritual part of it. So in other words, the law, the 5 books of Moses, there was just a shadow of Yahushua that was to come to bring a greater understanding. Because when Yahushua came, what did Yahushua say about adultery? Okay, how is it worded exactly?
Look to a woman to a lust.
Yes, if a man even look upon a woman to lust after her, he has committed adultery already. So the old law said, if a man lay with another man's wife, that's adultery. But Yahushua brought it on a new level. He said, even if you look upon her, to lust upon her within your mind, you've committed adultery in your spirit already. So you see how the Most High is showing the difference between the two, the physical and the spiritual tabernacle that's to come? Yeah.
It said Hebrews 10:1?
Yeah, Hebrews 10:1.
Hebrews 10th chapter, 1st verse. For the law, having a shadow of good things to come, and not the very image of the things, can never, with those sacrifices which they offered year by year, continually make the comers thereunto perfect.
Yeah. So the law in the past, the law couldn't make us perfect, because our carnal side would take over. The soul would take over the flesh. We would heap up offerings for the sins that we plan on doing in the future. You know? So even though you commit a sin and you go and you offer an offering to the Most High for the forgiveness of that sin, it was still in your mind. You would still plan it for next week. Well, next week I'm going to do it again. You know? Because I got two calves over there I can sacrifice. So the law itself didn't make us perfect. Read on.
Okay. 2nd verse. For then would they not have ceased to be offered, because that the worshippers once purged should have had no more conscience of sin.
Yeah, that's what was supposed to happen. Once you bought that offering, you wasn't supposed to go back and do that sin again. You're not supposed to have that in your conscience no more. But that's not what happened. Read on.
But in those sacrifices, there is a remembrance again made of sins every year.
Yeah. So even though you do the sacrifices, every year you got to come back, or for us, every day we had to come back and do the same sacrifice over and over and over. Because once you made the offering, you were supposed to be done with that sin. But we wasn't perfect. That flesh was fighting against us. So therefore, we couldn't do the things we wanted to. You know, Paul said that in Romans. He said, the things that I want to do, I do not. The things I want to do, which is keeping the law, he said, I can't do it. He's fighting against that flesh. Not that he was making an excuse, but he was being for real. You know, our spirit wants us to keep the law, but we always find ourselves doing things that we're not supposed to do. Even though we know, yeah, I know what I'm doing is wrong. I know it's a Sabbath. I'm not supposed to be doing this, but I got to do it, you know. But the things that we don't want to do, break the law, we do that every day. I'm sure we broke at least 5 commandments before we came here. Speaking truthfully, you know. Because sometimes there's laws that we break that we're not aware of, you know. You might drive by a dead body or something dead in the street and you didn't know that, but you broke a law. So that's why we make sacrifices and prayers for the sins of our ignorance that we're not aware of.
Right. And that's why Paul said those sins became a thorn in his side. Remember that? So that's why he said he prayed 3 times even more so that he could stop doing those sins. because they become thorns in our side. Like he said, we know that we're not supposed to do them, but we do them. That's a thorn in your side. And he said, the Most High set Satan on his side to revile him and bring those sins to remembrance so that what? Because the scripture says knowledge puffeth up. So he can stay what? He can stay humble. Remember, pride is a killer. Too much pride is a killer. So you want to be able to stay humble. So the Most High sends Satan on you, or have you remember, see, you're a sinner. You're still a sinner. So that you can remember in your mind, I got to stay humble. I got to stay humble in this truth. Because why? For better brotherhood. Understand? So we can build the nation of Israel for better brotherhood and bring this thing together and live the way Yahweh Shai wants to live in the Most High. And that's all that's for. And Paul understood that.
Yeah. Well, read down to,
okay.
Read down to 6.
Okay. 4th verse. For it is not possible that the blood of bulls and of goats should take away sins.
Yeah, we know the Most High required blood, but he said that blood wasn't good enough. He had to bring something even better. That's why I said your sacrifices and your offerings, he don't want them no more. Because we took advantage of that. So the Most High said that is done away with. That's the part that Yahweh Shai came to do away with. All those sacrificing animals every year, every day. Said Most High don't want that. He got a perfect sacrifice for us. You know.
Wherefore, when he cometh into the world, he saith, sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not, but a body hast thou prepared me. In burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin thou hast had no pleasure.
Yeah. But that perfect body that was sacrificed was Yahweh Shai. He became the sacrifice for us. So no longer every day we had to run to the priest and make an offering. But through our spirit we would make prayers and petitions that Yahweh Shai would grant us forgiveness. And that's where that veil comes into play. Read what you got, Yeshai.
Luke chapter 23 verse 44. And it was about the 6th hour, and there was a darkness over all the earth until the 9th hour.
Exodus 26.
And the sun was darkened, and the veil of the temple was rent in the midst. And when Yahushua had cried with a loud voice, he said, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. And having said thus, he gave up the ghost.
Yeah, so read that part again about the veil. Yeah. Verse 44. Yeah.
And it was about the 6th hour, and there was a darkness over all the earth until the 9th hour.
Go ahead.
And the sun was darkened, and the veil of the temple was rent in the midst.
Yeah. So what veil was he talking about? This was a representation of the temple. That veil was that veil that separated the holies from the Holy of Holies. So when Yahushua died, that veil was split. Doing what? When it was split, what happened? It made it open. Open not only to the Holy of Holies, but to the outer court. Because that veil separated. Just like your spirit is separate from your soul, that veil separates those two parts. So we're going to read in the Old Testament and see what that veil actually did. So read that in Exodus. Exodus 26 and 33.
Okay. And thou shalt put the mercy seat upon the ark of the testimony in the most holy place. And thou shalt set the table without the veil, and the candlestick over against the table on the side of the tabernacle toward the south. And thou shalt put the table on the north side.
Yeah, go ahead.
36th verse. And thou shalt make an hanging for the door of the tent of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen, wrought with needlework. And thou shalt make for the hanging 5 pillars of shittim wood. And
okay, read 33 again.
Okay.